行至岁尾，回望全年，2023这一路拼搏奋进。
We are moving toward the end of this year, and we are going to look back at what happened in the year 2023. We are racing toward the end of the year 23 while demonstrating ourselves with the dynamisms of the new China. So these are the most visited spots in the year 2023, where the booms of the consumers is meeting up with the booms of the tourists. This is indicating that everybody is running for a more prosperous future. Chinese economy is also recovering itself, delivered a very good result to the world. The year 2023 is seeing a very good recovery of the Chinese economies and a strong recovery with the pellet industry. All of this could be attributed to the great dynamisms of the Chinese market. The year 2023 means that China is going to open up further with more determined results and standards. In the city of Beijing, the third BRR was held. Looking back at what we have achieved in the past 10 years, China announced 10 major initiatives, marking the starting of the next golden eras. In the city of the ancient capital, Xi'an, China Central Asia Summit was kicked off in the year 23. The year 23 marks the voice of the China has been spread and echoed on the world arena. China is going to seal the sea while undertaking our responsibilities. The year of the 2023 is also the year of the sports spirits, as well as the spirits of the technologies. Asian Game was held in the city of Hangzhou, creating a historic record. The third C909 China homemade aircraft was launched into the sea. And China is also going to witness the first cruise sailing on the sea, marking a new crown on the shipmaking industry across the world. The Changzheng spacecraft is also creating the new record by flying for over 5,000 times. The Shenzhou 15 and Shenzhou 16, Shenzhou 16 and Shenzhou 17 was meeting up with each other in the space station for 2 times, marking the ordinary common operations of the space stations in the sky. If there are some of the voices here, I believe it could be echoed in every corner across the world. From the boom of the manufacturing industry, from the horse that the ship went into the sea, we are rising on a new chapter of the Chinese development in our history. Look at the green mountains, which could be extended for thousands of miles. Look at the twitters of the birds, which has been echoed in the ancient Shu channels in the Sichuan province of China. We celebrate the harmonious coexistence between human and nature. In the year 2023, we have emphasized once again about President Xi Jinping's idea about the cultural development. Chinese civilization's exploration goes back to the deep histories for a further 500 to 600 years. This is one steps that we made in the history of human beings. This is also the confidence that we could stand on to move towards into the future. If we are standing on a very strong culture, we are going to have more confidence as we are moving into the future. In June, a heavy flood hit the Beijing, Tianjin, and Hebei regions. a local official, Xiong Li, has given her life for the stop of the blood. The disaster created by the blood could be offset by the heroism of our protectors. Because of their spirits, our nation and our mountain has been refreshed with a new color. The year of the 2023 also marks ups and downs in the global arena. Conflicts in the Gaza Straits also means that over 2 million people get out of their homes. Turkish earthquake and the mountainous fires in Hawaii marks the importance for us to tackle the climate change. China is becoming the most stable force under the unstable situations. After 1 year, the Chinese president and the United States president has met up with each other and hold hand, stabilizing the China-U.S. relations. Under the leadership of China, Saudi Arabia and Iran reached their Beijing Agreement, where Iran is becoming an official member of the Shanghai Stock Exchange. After another 5 days, 5 countries in the BRICS mechanism is going to be seeing the joining of the 6 further members. This is the Chinese answer to the world, Chinese power to the world, and also Chinese solution to the world's conflicts. Record the steps as we are moving towards the future, creating the new memories as the year passes on. Distinguished guests, dear colleagues, good afternoon. Welcome to the announcement of the top 10 domestic news and top 10 international news of the year 2023. I'm Kang Hui, anchor of CMG. I'm Wang Yingqi with CMG. I'm Li Jing with the CMG. I'm Yang Guang with CMG. Today we are seeing a gathering of the distinguished guests. Let me introduce you the distinguished guest who is joining us today. Welcome. Today, we are also going to see a few faces that we could see on the broadcasting channels. The spokespersons, they are Mr. Jin Xiandong, the spokesperson of NDRC, Madam Tao Qing, the spokesperson of MIIT, Mr. Gao Chao, the spokesperson and head of the Publicity Office of the State Sports Administration, Mr. Xie Yingjun, the spokesperson of Chinese Publicity Administration, Madam Li Jing, the spokesperson of the Chinese Ministry of Technology, Mr. Jin Bin, the spokesperson of the Ministry of Agriculture, Madam Shu Jueqing, the spokesperson of MOFCOM, and Madam Zhang Xuxia, the spokesperson of the Ministry of Sports and Tourism and Culture. Today we are also quite honored to invite several different experiences of the top news in the year 2023. They are Mr. Wei Jingju, who is the head of the Chinese Tianjin Vocational School, and Mr. Wang Shun, the gold medal winners of the Hangzhou Asian Games. Together with them, we are going to witness the unveilings of the top 10 news. This news is being broadcasting on the platforms of the CCTV and CGTN. Please join us for further reviewing of today's top news. The year of the year 2023 is a year for us to recover our economy after the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, led by President Xi Jinping, the nation and all the ethnic groups has deepened our reforms and readjusted the macroeconomies, expanding the domestic demand and rising up our confidence. Our country's economy is recovered with high quality. This year, the modern industries complex has achieved the new results. Scientific innovation is making the new breakthroughs, while the reform and opening up is went deeper and wider. We are also providing the people with a better livelihood as we are striking forward. This year, we are facing a really complicated and difficult situations. As we are sailing towards thousands of the miles, I believe the mainstream of this year means that the high-quality development of the economy is going to be the major themes of our country. Under huge pressure, Chinese economy has recovered greatly. And for those of the Chinese people, for every single one of us who is working really hard for the beautiful life for ourselves, we care not only about our day-to-day life, we also care about the domestic and international news. We have witnessed every single new chapters of the technologies, and we are also witness every single touching moment in our life. We are going to have a look back towards the top 10 years of the year 2023, while we are going to unveiling the top 10 domestic and international news in the year 2023. Let's unveil the first group of the domestic top 10 news. We are going to invite spokesperson of NDRC and also the Deputy Director of the National Publicity Office to be on the stage and unveiling the first group of the top 10 domestic news. Welcome. This way, please.
欢迎两位，谢局长好。您所在的部门啊，可以说是举办新闻发布会最全面。
Welcome, DDJ. Good afternoon. You are the most revered person in the field of the news publicities. If you want to summarize your work in the year 2023, are you going to announce how many times of these news release that we have done in the state administration of publicity as well as the state councils? This year, we have upheld the 115 presses, different departments and provincial level governments, city level governments upheld over 4,000 presses. One of the major features of these presses is that they are in time, they are authoritative, and they are going to give you a full information. For example, this year we have upheld the series of the news conference about the national policies and introducing you the meanings behind these national policies. It's going to enable the public to have a better understanding about the policies, let the international world understands China better. Definitely, the series of this news conference that you have mentioned is a very important milestone in the year 2023. This year marks the beginnings of the implementing of the CPC's determinations for the next years. Until the end of this year, how can we better understand the starting point as the year 2023 embarks? This year, it is the first year we are going to fully implement the spirit of the 20th National People's Congress. This year we have upheld the 115 different conferences, and we have invited several different spokespersons to participate. And this series of these national presses has introduced different departments and different ministries' policies, interpreted these progresses and take an outlook towards the future development of the China and demonstrating the dynamisms of the Chinese economy, providing a depiction towards what Chinese people and Chinese government has been doing in the past few years. This series of the press conference is promoting the implementations of the spirit of the year 2020's National Congress. We are also looking forward for more press conference to spread more and more interpretations and giving us more confidence. Just as Director Xie has mentioned, in the year 2023, Chinese economy recovered with great stability. As the Central State Council's Economic Conference has noted in the economic meeting that we are going to stabilize during the progresses. So, Mr. Xie, could you please interpret the requirement of the State Council here? Pursuing progress in the middle of stability is one of the major principles for our Chinese economic policies. During the economic meeting upheld by Party Secretary Xi Jinping, he also mentioned that the stability is going to be the founding stone for the future development. My personal idea is that the cornerstone is also going to be serving as the major drive for our economy. Stabilization means that we need to stabilize the overall layouts of our country. We need to have a very stable economy while coming up with more and more policies to stabilize the expectations, stabilizing the job markets, as well as stabilizing the exchange markets. We believe that only if we have a very stabilized economy, the whole society is going to be stabilized, and we are going to have a brighter future. At the same time, progress means the direction that we are going to move forward. The major focus point of the progress means that we should be deepened the economic structures and deepen reform and opening up. We should also going to work for the structural changes as well as improving the qualities and increasing the efficiencies, making more progresses in this field. Only if we made some of the progresses in this part, Chinese economy is going to be better off during the stable development. The expectations for the economy and society is also going to be stabilized. This is my personal understanding. These are some of the mutually influenced factors. I think if we want to break something, if we want to, the news is going to replace the new things is going to replace the old ones. Means that we should try to fight against the nepotisms as well as the unstated practices. Only by doing this, we could stabilize the foundations of our nation and pursuing for the high quality development of our economy and achieving an upward spirit of the Chinese economy. And for NZRC, what should we do this year? We should fully implement the spirit and decisions made by the State Council's economic meeting and promoting the high-quality development of our nation. NZRC covers a lot of aspects in our economies. The first one is that we should analyzing the macroeconomies and the policy research. We should monitor the economy while make some of the demo project of the policies. And then we are going to coordinate the multi-factor targets and promoting the Chinese economy to recover in a continuous manner. Second, we are going to better play a role of the planned economy, where the plans is going to lead the economy into the development in certain sectors. We are also going to come up with a series of the plans for the stabilizations of the social development. We also need to enhance the coordinations between the different aspects, and promoting the implementations of the national strategies. Thirdly, we are going to use multiple funds more efficiently and focusing on the development of the certain project with more efforts. This is going to bear into more results. At the same time, we are also going to encouraging the private investment by balancing a pilot project. Stabilization and investment is going to play a better role in stabilizing the economy and promoting the development. Fourthly, I think that we should deepen the reform and expanding the innovation. First and foremost, we are going to enhance the constructions of the unified market across the country. Second, we are going to focus on the opened-up economy. Let the new dynamisms replaces the old ones. And we are also going to work on the comprehensive enhancement and coordination with the higher standards and a better outlook. We are going to work on the economic development, especially for the high-quality development of our economy. High-quality development of our economy and high development of our social societies means that we should pursue a lower carbon results while promoting the growth in our sectors. Thank you so much, Mr. Jin. I could feel that the NDRC covers every single corners of our economies. Moving into the next year, we are going to be stabilizers. Now we are going to invite the two spokespersons and unveil the first groups of the top 10 needs domestically. Interested by the Chinese media group, we are going to unveil the first group of the top 10 domestic news. They are the first plenary sessions of the 14th National People's Congress has elected for the new group of the national leaders, while President Xi Jinping becomes the leader of the CPC Central Committee as well as the leader of the militaries. The whole party has deepened our cooperations in the fields of the national development. The country has achieved major and decisive victories in the war against the COVID-19, promoting the Chinese way of modernizations with high-quality development. Chinese economy recovered with high quality, achieving the results that we have designed for this year. 10 years anniversary for the Belt and Road Initiative, while successfully upheld the third international summit of the Belt and Road forums. Now, and we are going to have a very small video clips to look back on what happened at this year. The first plenary sessions of the 14th National People's Congress has elected the new rounds of the national leaders, while the Party Secretary Xi Jinping has been elected as the chairman of the state as well as the chairman of the Central Military Committees. On March the year 2020, first, Comrade Xi Jinping has been once again elected as the President of the People's Republic of China. He's also becoming the President of the Chinese Central Committee of the Militaries, and in that meeting, we have held the reform plans of the National People's Congress. This is a demonstration of the state's will, the party's will, and the will of the people. It is also a reflection of all the people across China, all the party members, and all the militaries is going to work harder and united for the achievements of the secondary centenary targets of our country. The CPC has launched a deep understanding of the implementations about fully understanding President Xi Jinping's idea in the new eras. In March 2023, President Xi Jinping has decided to launch a series of the educations towards the Chinese socialism with the Chinese characteristics in the new eras. This series of the learning sessions marking that the officials at the county level should turn the ideas and the outlooks into the real practices and united a country and the frameworks where we are going to work hardest to uphold the socialism with the Chinese characters in the new eras. Since the launchings of these training sessions, different regions and different institutions has working on the two identifications and two maintenance and improving themselves, using the ideas of the President Xi Jinping to achieve a remarkable results, promoting the high-quality development and new progresses, and their further enhancement of the people's views. After the conclusions of the first branches of the training sessions, the second branches of this training session started from September 2023. The whole nation moved and entered into the prevention and control period where the COVID-19 has been modernized. On the 8th of January, China started to normalize our COVID-19 prevention and control, and making that the prevention and control measures of the COVID-19 has been shifted into the healthy management of the people across China. And after 3 years of the COVID-19 pandemic, the CPC Central Committee with President Xi Jinping as its core has always led the country and the nation to fight against the COVID-19. They have also undertaken the great responsibilities given by the histories and given by our peoples. We have also coordinated the prevention and control of the COVID-19, avoid several different mutations which has higher mortalities and higher infection ratios, protecting people's health, and helps us to win the battle against the COVID-19. With the optimizations in this part, for a very short period of time, China entered into the normalization phase for the COVID-19 pandemic, and we are also with the most populous countries in the human history into the healthy status, promoting the Chinese way of modernization constructions with the high-quality development. Chinese economy recovered with the good momentum, where all the targets of our economy has been achieved greatly. The year 2023 marks the first year for the economic recovery after the COVID-19 pandemic. The CPC Central Committee, led by President Xi Jinping, undertakes the pressures of the external while overcome the internal difficulties, deepen the reform and opening up, while expanding the domestic market, increasing the confidences, and preventing the potential risks as the Chinese economy is progressing with high-quality development. This year, the Chinese economy is being operating at the two different levels. The first one is at the high employment rate, the lower pricing index, and the Chinese economy is working on the new ladders. We are estimating the annual GDP growth ratio could be 5.2%, and the GDP turnover is 12.6 billion RMBs. Chinese economy is contributing to 1/3 of the global economic growth. Secondly, the average unemployment ratios in the urban area has been 5.2%. Thirdly, we have balanced the domestic and the international requirements. The exports is occupying for 14% of the international markets. Fourthly, we are going to use the high-quality development, promoting the Chinese way of modernizations and enhancing the cooperations. 10 years anniversary of the Belt Route initiations, as well as successfully upholding the third BIR Forum. The year 2023 marks the new year where the Belt Route initiative has been came up, and on October the 16th, the conference or the summit was being upheld in the national meeting centers, where Chinese President Xi Jinping has came up with 8 new perspectives for the Belt Route, injecting the new dynamisms for the Belt Route sectors. And he also came up with the idea that we could move into the future 10 years with a better perspectives. And during the pandemic, we have generated 480 different agreements. And in the conferences made by the entrepreneurs, the different enterprises has also signed up their bills for over 116 trillion US dollars over the past 10 years. 120 cooperational paper has been signed between China and the Belt Route countries. We are working towards a bright new future, a route of opportunities, a route of prosperity, and a route where we could move into the future. In the above-mentioned first group of the top 10 domestic news, one article is about celebrating the 10 years anniversary of the Belt Route Forums. In the past 10 years, as one of the major participants of CMG groups, we have witnessed the Belt Route starts from the initiations to the overall systems, covers several different areas. It also includes the Luban craftsmanshops. This is the first steps for the Chinese vocational educations to work on the international situations. We have also invited the construction parties of the Chinese Luban craftsman and manufacturing schools, and we have also invited their schoolmasters, their students from China, as also the students from Thailand. We are going to invite them to give us the introduction toward the Belt Route on the sea. Please take a seat. So, Mr. Wei and also Madam Wang, good afternoon. In the past several years, President Xi Jinping has mentioned about the Luban craftsmanship for many times. I think that from its name we can understand that this is one of the antiquity shops embedded with the Chinese features. So, Mr. Gong, could you please introduce us what is the features for the Luban workshop? Luban craftsmanship is one of the major combinations between the traditional Chinese culture into the modern eras, where the modern vocational schools has been combined with the ancient Chinese culture. Using the collaborations of the project, we are working on a new path for the further development. We are working on the preschool education as well as the technological trainings and sharing the Chinese solutions through the vocational education, as well as the Chinese equipment across the world. We are going to provide the world the best and the most comprehensive researching network in China. Mr. Lu Ban is one of the surname for the kind-hearted and smart-handed craftsmen in the Chinese history. What are you planning to do? Yes, I believe so. Under the leaderships of the several different ministries, the participants of this project, starting from the very first day of the project, we have considered the internal meanings and thinkings behind it. And in the ancient Chinese histories, the most renowned field is Mr. Lu Ban, who have lived 2,500 years ago. Second, we also believe teaching and education should be unified. And we are going to teach while the students is going to learn. This is going to demonstrate a very smart and stable civilizations and also the new features of the modern apprenticeships and also the meanings for the long-term corporations. That's the reason why I think the meaning comes from here. The Luban Gongfang has its unique features because we today invited some of the Chinese colleagues who is joining us today. She is still quite young. In the recent few years, China has created the first one of the Luban County College for the first time. 7 years passes on. So what is the latest information of the talents Luban craftsmen and what kind of changes has it brought to the local citizens? On the 8th of March 2016, there has been 8 years for the further development. Currently, we have calculated 1,600 local Chinese Thai people, and we have also conducted over 18,000 times of the short-term training, where we include some of the, and enroll some of the students from the neighboring countries of Thailand, including the students in Malaysia and Indonesia. They've been participating their own country's national progress competitions, and also they have won the medals for over 20 times. At the same time, through the Luban Gongfang, we have also recruited 361 overseas students. Any graduates from the Luban craftsmanship is also very welcomed by the local enterprises, especially the Chinese invested enterprises. This is the result. You mentioned that you have recruited over 300 different overseas students. So now we are going to have a word with Xintong. To my knowledge, Xintong only comes to China in September this year. Before that, how did you understand or get to the information of Luban craftsmanship? Before that, I have heard the names of the Luban craftsman shop from an alumni, and I think the teaching is also very good. The atmosphere is very suited for learning. I could feel that you have only been in China for 3 months, but your Chinese is also progressing very fluently. I believe that you are going to be suited for the Chinese life very quickly. Let me have you another question. So what is the biggest feelings after you are coming here into China? What is your target for your life? I feel excited and thrilled in China. I want to do my undergraduate here in China and find a job here in China. very welcome. And we wish you a happy stay here in China, and we wish the Luban craftsmanship a better stay across the world. We are going to provide better Chinese courses here in the Luban Gongfang. Now we are going to invite you to unveil the domestic information. So we are going to give the floor to Mr. Liu Chao and also Mr. Ding Bing, who is the spokesperson of the Ministry of Information and Technology, to be on the stage. Welcome. Director Ding, at the end of this year, one group of the statistics has lifted me up. That is to say, across the year 2023, the total production of the grains in China is creating a new record high, which is reaching 10,923 trillion tons. This is a new number created by our agricultural sectors. So we need to sum up our experiences. Mr. Liu, could you tell us what kind of concrete measures did the Ministry of Agriculture and Technologies do to improve the output of the grains in China? This is a hard-won results. This year, we have suffered from several different results. In the summer harvest, the Central Plateau has been soaked with the heavy rains. With the frequent occurring of the natural disaster, the State Council and the CPC Central Committee, as well as the local governments, is working together with millions of the citizens and trying to get a better result. In order to achieve a better result, the Ministry of Agriculture and while we are doing a good job in the promotion of technologies, we coordinated the single actions towards the improvements of this field. There is a huge discrepancies in the harvest, the sowings, and also the fertilizers. From every single round, we are trying to optimizing the procedures, and we have came up with comprehensive solutions. And this year, we are working on 100 tons of these soybeans production counties and 200 corn production counties, enhancing our technologies in this field. And according to the survey this year, the 300 counties or prefectures increases their output of the soybeans by 30 to 15 kilograms per mu of the land, while the corns has also increased their volume by 300 to 500 kilograms per mu of the land. This is also helping our nation to increase the total production across the nation. Recently, we have concluded the central government's meeting on the agriculture, making sure that in the year 2023, the total output of the grains is going to be kept at 1.35 trillion tons. And moving to the future, Ministry of Agriculture is going to fully implement the indications of President Xi Jinping and better fight against the disasters, stabilizing the basic grains, stabilizing the soybeans, stabilizing the corns, and expanding the growing areas for the vegetables. While working on the 300 major prefectures and counties, we are also going to increase 100 county or prefectures in the field of the corn, 200 prefectures and counties in the field of the rapeseeds, and 200 counties or prefectures in the vegetables. we are going to control the Chinese food supply at our own hands. And we are also going to provide our own share of the solutions to the global food security. Let's talk about something in the field of the sports. The year 2023 also means that we have seen the Chinese spokesperson fight for a new record in the Asian Games in Hangzhou, and in June we are going to welcome the Paris Olympic sports. Mr. Liu, how is the preparation for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games? Thank you so much for your kind question. As you have mentioned, in the past 1 year, Chinese athletes is working harder in the field of the Hangzhou Asian Games and also the Chengdu University Games. And they are also demonstrating their spirits, representing the spirits of the new generations with their upbeating spirits and their confidence in themselves. For every single athlete representing their countries and regions, and on the field and the grounds of the Olympics, is a pride of themselves, and is also one of the most daunting missions. In the office building of the National Administration of the Sports, once you have entered into the hall, there is going to be a countdown clocks, reminding that every single one of us, how many days are we from the Paris Olympic Games. Every single team in China is undergoing a series of the training sessions. This is the most concentrated training sessions according to the requirement of the National Administration of the Sports. We are also going to work on the 6 fronts, including the spiritual leading and also the beliefs of the different athletes. Second, we are going to be the target-driven and target-led. Thirdly, we are also going to work on the 3 requirements, strictly driven, starting from the realities, and scientifically controlled. Fourthly, we are going to work on the basic physical conditions as well as the scientific conditions. And the 6th part is also very important. It is about the anti-drug efforts. I believe the Chinese athlete is going to work hard with the spirit of the party and the nation to fight for the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. And we are going to cheer up for the Chinese athletes in the year 2024. Now we are going to invite the 2 spokespersons to work on the podium to announce the top 10 domestic news in the year 2023.
刚刚看过了2023前5条国内新闻，我也很好奇，接下来又是什么呢？
After reviewing the top 5 domestic news in the year 2023, I'm also curious about the next 5 top 10 news domestically entrusted by the CMG group. We are going to announce and unveil the second group of the top 10 news in China. They are the CPC Central Committee and the State Council has published a general guideline to promote the national economies. The total output of the grain in China has been achieving 1,390 trillion tons of the grains. China has successfully upheld the Hangzhou Asian Games as well as the Chengdu University Games. There are extreme weathers in the northeast part of China and the southeast part of China. Chinese Central Committee has issued 1 trillion state bills on the disaster relief and the disaster prevention measures. China has made the breakthroughs in the multiple fields. We are going to have a look on a very short video clips to take a look at what happened in the year 2023. CPC Central Committee and the State Council has issued a guideline toward the expansions of the private economy's development. On the 9th of September 2023, the CPC Central Committee and the State Council issued a guideline towards the better support of the private economy in China. It is a document for the high-quality development of the private economies, as well as creating a social atmosphere where the private sector's development is going to be at the center for the supporting policies after the issuing of these guidelines. By the end of the year 2023, there are over 5 trillion private enterprises registered in China. They are accounting for 92% of the GDP growth in China. The total food production in China is reaching 1,390 billion kilograms, creating a new historical record. In the year 2023, the total output of the grains in China is reaching 1,390.8 billion tons, creating a new record high, and for the continuous 9 years, the total grain output has been stabilized for over 1.3 trillion tons. And we are also upgrading the lowest purchasing prices for the soybeans and for the wheat. We are also expanding the 3 dominant growing areas for the grains. And this means that we have subsidized one-time policies for the farmers across the country. And the food security is always at the priority of our country. This year, the total sowing areas across the country has been increased by 54 mu of the land, offset the damage created by the disasters and laying a very fertile foundations. And with this new record high output of the grains, this is laying a very solid foundations for the nations, as well as stabilizing the grain output across the world. We have upheld the 13th World University Summer Games and the 19th Asian Games. The Chengdu University Games, as well as the Asian Games, was upheld in June 19th to 23 and September 19th to October 18th in the year 2023. The achievements of the Chinese athletes means that we have topped the 2 games. The Chengdu game is becoming a very important platform where the students across the world is going to share their friendships and exchanges, and the Hangzhou Asia Games is not only a celebration for the sports spirit, it's also exchanges between the culture. Smart, conservative, and green games means that China is providing the green solutions. Outside of the symposiums, the sports game is also leading the nation to move on a more healthy trajectories. Extreme weather, extreme rain hit the north part of China and also the northeast part of China. In June 2023, heavy rain hit the north part of China and northeast part of China, creating a lot of disasters across China. After the occurring of the disasters, under the leadership of President Xi Jinping at its core, all the public departments and ministries and the firefighting forces as well as the militaries are working together for the defense of these nations and reducing the disasters to the minimum of the relief. At the center of this year, the CPC Central Committee has issued 1 trillion national treasury bills in order to improve the national capacity to deal with the unforeseen disasters. China has made the scientific new breakthroughs in the multiple fields. In the past few years, China has actively promoted the scientific innovations, and we are making the new breakthroughs in this field. Mandate, space engineering has entered into a new phase. On May this year and October this year, Shenzhou 16 and Shenzhou 17 was launched into a new journey into the space. On May the 28th, the China Eastern Airline has been using the C919 aircraft for the first time, and this is the first commercial airline crew in China. On the 4th of November, the first China-made cruise ship was sailing into the sea for the first time, marking a new ladder of the Chinese manufacturing capacity in the field. China is becoming a new nation where we are going to have the manufacturing capacity about the cruise ships, spacecraft, and this is a demonstration about the scientific prowess in China.
2023国内10大新闻已经揭晓完毕了，其中有一条新闻我个人感触特别深，就是我们成功。
We have unveiled the top 10 news of the year 2023. One of the news has touched my heart. I have been participating in the opening ceremony and closing ceremony of Hangzhou Asian Games. This is a game where the Chinese culture has been blended with the international arenas. Over 45 athletes from over 45 countries and regions has been gathered here in the beautiful city of Hangzhou. And after the games, the General Secretary has sent congratulatory letters saying that the Hangzhou Asian Games is one of the most welcomed games and the record-creating games in the histories of the Asian Games. We are going to welcome the gold medal barrier and also the top swimmer in China, Mr. Wang Shun, to be on the stage. Good afternoon. Welcome, Wang Shun. I think that we still remember that on this year's Asian Games, the athletes is trying to make the new records, while the new athletes is actually becoming the touch barriers for these Asian Games. So, Wang Shun, what is your take on the Chinese athletes' breakthroughs in the Hangzhou Asian Games? I think this cannot be separated from our day-to-day trainings, and we are working really hard on the training sessions and for the athletes. The training field is the battleground for all of us. We need to demonstrate our best spirits as one of the. We are hoping that through my day-to-day trainings, we are going to affect and encourage more and more young athletes. Speaking of the Asian Games, I have got 2 gold medals in the Asian Games, and this is not the most delightful things for me. The most delightful thing for me is that I have created a new Asian record. I used to believe that I'm not going to create a new record anymore. I got my gold medal in the year 2021, but I never imagined that I could make some of the new breakthroughs in the Hangzhou Asian Games. I believe that this is the most joyful things for me. Definitely, the result I achieved cannot be separated from the strong support of our nation, because since I entered into the national teams in the year 2009, I still remember that the one coach is leading us for the team for 6 to 7 members, and up to now, I have one coach. For one athlete, I have 6 to 7 coach to guarantee myself my performance. That is to say, there is a huge shift behind the effort. The country and the nation is supporting us with a better technology and with more personnel support. Take a look back at what happened in the year 2023. We are also going to take an outlook towards what is going to happen in the year 2024. So, as the spokesperson mentioned, that all of the Chinese teams is preparing for the Olympic Games in Paris 2024. What is your outlook towards the Olympic Games in the year 2024? I am very confident as we are preparing for the Paris Games in the year 2024, and as mentioned by the DDG Gao, we have several different requirements. We have the strict requirement, the difficult requirement, and we are actually shifting and moving to the next year. I believe that as one of the athletes, next year I'm going to celebrate my 30 years birthday. I'm going to become 30, and when Chinese people think that it is becoming 30, it means that I'm going to be standing on my own feet. I am calling for more support across the nation for the Chinese athletes in the upcoming 2024 Paris Olympic Games, and we are looking forward for the Chinese athletes, and we are always going to be prepared for cheer up for you.
好，接下来我们将会放眼全球，揭晓2023国际10大新闻。当今世界变乱交织，地缘。
We are going to take a look at the global stage and unveiling the top 10 news across the international society. And across the world, the protectionism and unilateralism is still on the rise, while conflicts and wars are still raging multiple countries. The calling for peace and development across the world is becoming ever more feverish. So, what are the top 10 news marking a deciding factor for the upcoming years? We are going to enter into the result announcement areas. We are going to give the floor to Madam Shu Jueting, DDG of MOFCOM, and Madam Zhang Xuxia, DDG Ministry of Culture and Tourism, to come to the stage and announce the top 10 international news in the year 2023. Welcome for joining us on the sites. But we definitely should have our Q&A session. News is going to be released at any time, at any moment. So the first news is going to be given to the spokesperson of MOFCOM. So how many news conferences has been upheld by the MOFCOM this year? What are the new changes about the news press this year? What is new feeling? Thank you so much. For a long time, MOFCOM attaches great importance for the press conferences. Apart from the press conferences, we have, apart from the regular press conferences, we are going to uphold some of the earmarked press conference, especially in the year 2023, facing the complicated situations domestic and abroad. We have summarized that across the year, we have upheld 68 press conferences to the average, that is to say, we have one press conference every single 4 working days, and we also have 2 major features. That is to say, across the world, across the society, there are more and more concerns in the results of the MOFCOMs, and we are also going to feel that there are more thumbs ups, more comments, and The second part of our feeling is that there are more participations of the foreign medias because our press conference is open up for the foreign medias. Actually, after one single sessions, half of these questions are coming from the foreign medias. This is indicating the Chinese pillaring situations for the global economy, and it's also putting the new requirement. Talking about the new feelings, we feel that the new energy vehicles as well as the solar panels has becoming one of the major driving forces for the exports. So what is the stake for the MOFCOM in terms of the cultivating the new driving forces for the foreign trade? And you have mentioned about a very important highlight for the major top 3 pillars. NEVs, lithium batteries, and solar panels is becoming the major exporting goods, and it registers 37.7% of the growth. They are accelerating in these 3 areas, demonstrating the transformings about the global energy structures. This is also a demonstration of the advantages in the global supply chains. There are some of the new changes in the Chinese foreign trade, the upgradings about the product and also the shipment industry, aviation and spacecraft industry, healthcare and medical sectors is also exporting more and more goods. Traditional industries, including the household appliances, are also accelerating its intelligent transformations. The private economy is also injecting new dynamisms. The private sector is accounting for over 60% of the exports in China. They are becoming the pillar of the exports in China, and they are becoming one of the name calls for the Chinese manufacturer made in China to manufactured in China. We are also working on the emerging economies as well as other different economies. The new types of the business, including the cross-border e-commerce platform, has been gaining more and more impetus. In the beginning of this year, as the Central Economic Committee has been pointed out to the importance of growing the foreign trade in the year 2024, we are going to be focusing on the work in the 3 fronts. The first one is that all the private company is going to get the information in a timely manner. And secondly, we are going to continuously promote the digitalizations of the trade and promoting the Chinese standards to be upgraded into international arenas and defense of trade chains and also the supply chains. Thirdly, we are going to accelerate the development of the overhaul sea warehouses and also the cross-border e-commerce platforms. Thank you. We are also hoping that through these measures, in the year 2024, we are going to see a better answer being done by the Chinese export sectors. Thank you so much, Zhi Sheng. You have mentioned a lot of new features and new feelings. I think that a lot of us shares the same feelings. The year of the 2023 is seeing a recovery of the tourism industries, and there are more different types of the tourism features, including tourism with the Asian Games and also the city works. So I'm going to give the question to Madam Zhang Xuxia. With the upcoming vacational sessions, there are new types of these tourisms. What are the new measures the Ministry of Tourism and is going to came up to promote the tourism? Just as you could be feeling that since the beginning of this year, the sectors of the tourism has been into a fast recovery track. According to the statistics, the total tourism times about the first 3 quarters of this year is registered at 3.7 billion and creating a lot of new dynamisms of the Chinese economies and also the further recoveries of the Chinese economies. Moving to the next steps, we are going to optimizing the policies and promoting a series of measures to be taken into effect. We are going to believe that the tourism has been done for the people, and we should fully implement the spirit of the CPC Central Committee and promoting the domestic improvement plans, and while coming up with a series of the inbound promotion actions and focusing and also focusing on the orders of the tourism market. I believe that we are going to work from the two ends. Improving the confidence of the tourism sectors and also the confidence in the consumptions. Second, we are going to enriching the production, enriching a series of the products and promoting the integrations between culture and tourism. We are going to explore and promote the entertainment shows, intangible cultural relics, foods and restaurants, and as well as the catering industry, and also the healthcare sectors to be integrated with the tourism sectors, fulfilling the demand of the local people and innovating the supplies and using the new types of these supplies to satisfy the demand. Thirdly, we are going to enhance our policies and expanding and taking out all kinds of the measures. And in this front, we are going to further promote the new benches of the national cultural and tourism consumption destination centers, 5A tourism destinations, national tourism demonstration centers, and also the tourism where we could celebrate and enriching the categories of the tourism consumption, integrating and injecting the new dynamisms for the future tourism development. As you have mentioned that the approaching of the New Year in China, and we are also going to come up with a series of the new themes of the Spring Festivals, including the entertainment shows, the intangible relics demonstration project, and also the exhibitions. And we believe while spreading the traditional Chinese cultures, we could create a harmonious and celebrating New Year's atmosphere that you feel strong feelings of the happiness in the game. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm quite looking forward to it. I believe that in the upcoming New Year, the tourism industry is going to be entered into the new stage. I want to thank the two spokespersons. Now we are going to invite the two spokespersons to be on the stage to announce the top 10 international news in the year 2023. Entrusted by the China Media Group, we are going to unveil the top 10 international news. They are the Chinese latest diplomat is leading the development of the global relations, stabilizing the global arenas. China has announced 8 actions to promote the modernizations as well as celebrating the 10 years anniversary of the Belt and Road initiatives. New rounds of the conflicts between Hamas and Israel has been breaking out. China has been promoting the cooperations and retaliations between Saudi Arabia and Iran. World economy has been recovered in a very sluggish manner, while Chinese economy's recovery is injecting the new dynamisms into the recovery of the global economy. Chinese latest diplomacy is leading the international relations development. In the year 2023, the diplomacies led by the Chinese leaders means that we are entered into the new phase of the global development, injecting the new powers and upholding the shoulders of responsibilities as one of the giant countries across the world. In March, President Xi Jinping is launching a state visit to Russia, jointly signed the China-Russian declarations for the economic development. In November this year, President Xi Jinping flies to San Francisco and discussed with President Biden for the peaceful and harmonious coexistence between China and the United States. In March this year, President Xi Jinping has came up with the global civilization initiations in the Chinese dialogue about the CPC parties and also the parties. Before that, President Xi Jinping has came up with the global economic initiations and also the global environmental initiations. In May this year, President Xi Jinping upheld the first China Central Asian Summit, announcing the official settings about the China Central Asian leadership mechanisms. In August this year, President Xi Jinping flew to South Africa and participating in the 15th BRICS sessions, launching a state visit toward South Africa. This year marks the 10 years anniversary as President Xi Jinping came up with the collaboration announcement between China and South Africa. And together we are going to work on a bright future between China and South Africa. In December this year, President Xi Jinping and Party Secretary of the CPC Central Committee have started a state visit to Vietnam by joining hands with the leaders of the People's Republic of Vietnam. They are celebrating the 10 years anniversaries for President Xi Jinping's diplomatic ideas, for celebrating the neighboring countries' relations. And in the different situations and sessions, President Xi Jinping has met up with the leaders across the world and international organizations. A series of the diplomatic events done by China and President Xi Jinping is injecting the stabilities in the global arenas. And this is demonstrating the responsibilities across in China. A series of the fruits has been bared by the 10 years anniversary of the Belt Road initiations. The year 2023 marks the 10 years anniversary of the Belt Road initiations. Over the past 10 years, 100 countries, 32 international organizations have signed up the Belt Road initiations. Over the past several years, the Belt Road initiations means the consultations and the sharings is becoming the new method for the international collaborations. This is a new chapter for the future collaboration. On the 18th of October, the third session of the Belt Road Forum was upheld in the city of Beijing. In the summit, China has announced 8 actions supporting the Belt Road initiations. For the high quality and new development of the Belt Road initiations, achieving the modernizations of the Chinese nations and build a new shared destiny of humankind. A new round of the conflicts has been broken out between Israel and Hamas. On the 7th of October this year, there are new rounds between Hamas and Israel, creating for over 20,000 deaths up to today. We could hear the bombs explode 3 kilometers away from me. Israel has conducted a series of the military operations, creating a lot of humanitarian disasters. A temporary ceasefire was achieved, but the ceasefires continued. Apart from this, we are calling for the ceasefires between Palestine and Israel and back to the discussion tables. As the President of the UN's General Assembly in November this year, China has been promoting the new rounds of the ceasefire between the two sides. A series of the international organizations has also been participating in the ceasefires between Israel and Palestine. China has been working hard for the re-ties between Saudi Arabia and Iran. In March the 8th, 2023, the Foreign Secretary between Saudi Arabia and Iran has met up in the city of Beijing, resuming the ties between Iran and Saudi Arabia. And the United Nations has resumed the positions of Syria. On December, Syria has appointed their second ambassador to Saudi Arabia. The peaceful development and the common pursuit of prosperity has been unveiled gradually in the Middle East. China has always been supportive of negotiation as a diplomatic solutions. Chinese global economy has endured the very hard recovery, while Chinese recovery has been injecting the new dynamisms for the global economy. At the beginning of the year 2023, there are uneven recovery in the global economy, while the Chinese economy's recovery has been injecting the new dynamisms. Compared with last year, the developed economies has been slowed by 1.1% of the GDP growth year on year. At the same time, the developing countries and the emerging economy performance is better than we expected. The IMF, World Bank, and also Asian Development Banks, among other different international economic organizations, believe that in April this year, the China is becoming the major pillar for the global economic recovery. If we take a look back at the annual top news, no matter domestic and abroad, the news continues to occur. China is playing an ever more important role in the spreading of the domestic and international news. For example, during the APEC summit this year, China has launched the information. CMG groups has launched the news top across the world. During the reportings between the Palestinian and Israel conflicts, the Chinese reporter is becoming at the forefront of the conflicts. The Chinese CGTN reporters and also the central Middle East stations has been bringing us back the news with the frontline informations. Up until today, our reporters is still fighting at the front line and recording the most important feelings towards them. So what are their feedbacks? What are their feelings? We are going to invite our reporters from the Middle East station to bring us more. So thank you. I'm Chen Huihui, stationed in Ankara, Turkey. Since the new rounds of these Israel-Palestinian conflicts, the CMG's local station has conducted a series of these new reports in these areas. I become the first branches of these reporters, and according to our arrangement, we have separated into 3 teams. And one of the reporters is stationed in Israel. Another reporter is stationed in Palestine. Another group led by me, we are heading toward the forefront areas between the Israel and Palestinian conflicts. As we are moving toward the center of the conflicts, as we are moving toward the center of the battlefield, we could still hear the bombs explode at the top of our head. Since Israel has launched a series of the massive military operations in the Gaza Strait, across the world, every single eye was being focused on the front line of the battlefield. we have came to the positions where we could shoot more footage allowed by the military authorities of Israel. And as we are watching on with the tension grows in these concentration centers of the military centers, there are more and more tanks and drones gathered here in these camps. And arriving on the site, it is the missions of the reporter, and every single reporter, we are not going to fight on ourselves. So the high efficient strategic allocations about the center of the CMG groups means that we could go through the battlefield and brings the first-hand information shared to our media colleagues. And these footages has been broadcasting in 112 countries and regions with 140 televisions. In the front line of the news, we are spreading the Chinese news with the Chinese voice. Thank you, Hui Hui, for your kind sharing. No matter where you are heading towards, we are not going to forget our initial ideas because every single site is the battlefield for the reporters. Now we are going to unveil the second group of the top 10 international news. We are going to give the floor to spokesperson of MIT, Tao Qing, and spokesperson of Ministry of Technology, Lu Jing, to be on the stage. Welcome to spokesperson. I could also feel the wind, the view of the technology coming at my face. We all know that technology is going to be the driving for our nations. Enhancing the development technologies is going to be one of the major drivers for the Chinese economy. The first question goes to Madam Tao Qing. In the recent few years, the manufacturing in China is developing quite dramatically, especially for the shipping industry. So how do you interpret these highlights? Thank you so much. Since the beginning of the year 2023, MIT is promoting the high-quality development of the manufacturing industry. The shipping industry is growing better in the midst of the stability. Generally speaking, the scale of the industry has been increased. The orders that we've been taken in these sectors is registered as a double-digit growth. Secondly, the high technological development and the ship industry is also on the rising. For example, the cruise ships, the number Dafeng has been delivered, and this year we also delivered over 20 different cruise ships. They are of the largest scale. These container ships is marking a new development stage, as well as the market share of the cruise ships and also the container ships is also expanding. For example, among the top 20 ship types, we tops 14 of the ship manufacturers, ship orders across the world, demonstrating a booming momentum about the ship-making sectors. Thank you so much, madam. We are also wishing that in the upcoming new years, our country could be sailing further. We are going to give the next question to Madam Tan Jing with the Ministry of Information and Technology. With the new rounds of the development, artificial intelligence and the meta universe is becoming the trends. What is your view about the artificial intelligence? What are the new challenges and the features about the artificial intelligence? What kind of measures are you going to bring up? Thank you so much. In the past 1 year, the artificial intelligence has been leapfrogged from the generative artificial intelligence, from the generative of the dialogues, of the artistic features, and this project not only has changed the relations of the dialogue between human and machines. It's also dramatically changed the production capacities of humankind. For example, in the technological field, there's a trend for AI for science. Artificial intelligence is boosting the biotechnologies and material technologies. And there's a huge possibilities for us to accelerating the change of the paradigms in the scientific research. The 20th National People's Report has came up with a requirement for the new branches of the engines for the artificial intelligence. The Central Economic Report has also emphasized and highlights the importance of the artificial intelligence. Moving into the future, artificial intelligence is going to be at the heart about the national development, and we are also going to accelerate the output in this field. For one part, we are going to work on the theories, and for the other part, we are also going to work on the different scenarios. In the scenario making process, we are going to iterate ourselves and expanding the market. Another part, we are also going to work on the ethnical controls and integrating the initiatives of the global AI initiatives and build a healthy and ordered development, making artificial intelligence a real benefit for all the mankind. Thank you so much. Now we are going to give the floor to the two spokespersons for them to unveil the second group of the top 10 years in the year 2023. I am really honored to be entrusted by the China Media Group to announce the second group of the top 10 international news. A stigma between Russian-Ukraine conflicts, expansions of the SCO and the BRICS mechanisms, expansions of the African Union. El Nino is creating more and more extreme weathers across the world. 2023 is becoming the hottest year and the historical record. Accelerations of the global artificial intelligence technologies. Politicalizations is becoming more and more polarized, and this is the first has of the House in the first deposed Director of the House in the United States. A stigma between Russian-Ukraine conflicts. In the year 2023, Russian-Ukraine conflicts entered into a stalemate after 2 years. Russia is announcing that they are going to enhance their military forces in the front line, while the Western countries still trying to intensify in the countries up until today. The United States is providing for over $2 trillion aid and support. EU is providing the aid for 8.2 trillion. The major Western countries has put a seal on the Russian oil and natural gas prices. EU sanction towards Russia means a higher prices in the energy supply. There is a sluggish supplements toward Ukraine from the United States, and the EU has an internal conflict towards the further supply in this field. SCO mechanism and also the BRICS members expanding their mechanisms, and they have officially taken Iran as a member of the SCO mechanisms. In August this year, according to the 15th sessions of the BRICS mechanisms, we have invited Saudi Arabia, Argentina, Iran becoming the new members. In September, G20 allows African Union becomes official members of the G20. African Union becomes the second union members of the G20 after the EU. This is representing the growing power about the emerging economy. Emerging countries and developing countries, among other different global South countries, is becoming an inseparable power across the global stations. El Nino is creating a more frequent demonstrations of the extreme weather. 2023 is becoming the hottest year since the record. El Nino is creating a frequent occur of the extreme weather events in the year 2023 across the world. El Nino is going to be continued for at least April the year 2024. Extreme weather events occurred across the world, including Southeast Africa and South Asia. Extreme weather occurred in North Africa. Heavy drought spreads, while the wildfires rampage the Australia and also North America. COP28 was upheld in Dubai, and they have achieved the first global sum up since Paris Agreement. And they are building a framework where the developing countries is going to be providing the aid toward the underdeveloped countries for the climate disasters. Artificial intelligence is raising their pace. There's a new wave of artificial intelligence developed in the year 2023. Generative artificial intelligence is becoming one of the major development trends. United Nations is calling for the global governance in this field. In October this year, China published the first global artificial intelligence guidelines, trying to make sure the artificial intelligence could be fair and just. In November, the first artificial intelligence summit was upheld in Britain, reaching the first international initiations. In December, European members has finished the first artificial intelligence initiatives, and this is going to become the first artificial intelligence related initiatives in the international situations. Politicalization is rising in the United States. After 15 rounds of the votings, the United States House is also creating the longest voting in the histories, and Mackenzie is becoming the first deposed head of the House in the United States. Politicalization is accelerating, is worsening the U.S. economies, while the Democrats and the Republicans are fighting for every single front. There are over 40,000 Americans died under the gunshots this year.
作为新闻工作者，我们用手中的笔、话筒、镜头定格了一段段新闻瞬间。
我们用有温度、接地气的作品，努力讲好中国故事，讲好中国共产党故事，讲好我们正在经历的新时代故事。
今天的新闻就是明
To tell a better story of China, a better story about the world. The news today is going to be the history about the world. We are going to move toward a better future. Now we are going to announce the 2023 Top 10 Domestic News and Top 10 International News has been concluded and officially released here.
大家还可以登录央视新闻微博、微信客户端、央视频、央视网、中国之
Please
声
follow the
来了解总台2023
Weibo blogs, CCTV news, and also CMG's, CGTN's official website for more information about the top 10 news, domestic and abroad. We are going to say a farewell to the fruit bearing 2023 and welcome the brand new 2024. The next year is the year 2024 is going to celebrate the 75 years anniversary since the founding of People's Republic of China. We are going to work harder for the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. The year 2023 means that every single one of us is working really hard, and this is the year we have been surpassing our limits. And in the year 2024, we are going to work together with the great shapes of China and seal a further thousands of miles. China Media Group is also going to work on the forefront of the news and the media, and to build platforms with more influences across the world, and more effectively serving the great target of our party and our nation. Thank you again for coming and joining the press conference of today, and thank you so much for the viewers about the CMG platforms. We are going to wrap up the press conference of the top 10 domestic and international news of the year 2023 by the China Media Groups. We are going to see you next year.